Bonjour everyone, and welcome back to the Waves of Your Soul. I am your humble French tarot reader / deck goblin marine, and today we're gonna be doing a good old-fashioned haul, just sharing with you some of my newest tarot and oracle decks. I actually treated myself to a few decks that had been on my wishlist for a really long time as a treat from me to me for getting through Vlogmas, which I did in December, where I posted a lot of content on this channel. I worked really hard, and so in exchange I decided to treat myself to a few decks that had been on my wishlist, and I also received a couple of Kickstarters that I had backed earlier in 2024. I'm still waiting for a few Kickstarters from last year. I'm waiting from one actually from 2023, so there'll be other decks coming throughout the year. You know, I enjoy doing little hauls whenever I get new decks, but today I definitely have some awesome gems to share with you, so I am super excited. If it's your first time here, I want to say a huge welcome. In the description box, you're going to find all the names of the decks I'm mentioning today. If I have time, I'll put links. You will also find my deck haul playlist. In case you enjoy those kinds of videos, I've made a whole playlist with all of my deck hauls, so you can watch that. You will find other videos of mine you may want to check out. You'll find my tarot readings channel, where I use all these decks I'm sharing with you on this channel. On the Waves of Your Soul readings is where I get to read the cards for you guys and actually put these decks into good use. And I think that's all I have to tell you guys today. I hope you all had a good beginning of January so far. I've taken things a little bit slower, as I've told you in my latest video, which was my current favorites. If you've not seen that, I'll put it in the cards. January has been a little bit rough for me health-wise. I've been a little bit going through it with my chronic pain. I am in the middle of trying a new treatment, so I know those of you out there who are dealing with physical illness or mental illness, regardless, you know what it's like when you have to get into a new treatment. It's always a bit of trial and error. It can throw things up a little bit. January has definitely not been the easiest month for me, but I really wanted to show up for you guys today and share with you some goodies. Originally, I thought about filming a pick a card reading, but I didn't have the energy, so instead we're just gonna look at pretty decks. I'm gonna share with you my new stuff. It's gonna be a chill video. I don't have, like I said, a ton of energy, but I still wanted to share with you some beautiful decks, spend a good time together, have a little fun time. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. So without further ado, let's get into it. Little deck haul, let's go. Let's start with the deck I've had the longest. It's actually a Kickstarter that arrived right at the beginning of January or end of December, I can't remember, but it literally arrived a couple of days after I filmed my latest haul, and it's one I've been using all months of January, so I can actually give you a mini review of this one because I've been working with it quite a lot. And it is the Forest Spirit Imprint Tarot by US Star Wheel Game System. Like I said, it was a Kickstarter I backed. Some of you told me that this was available for pre-order on Tevada. Some of you saw it on Amazon by different sellers. I don't know if there's still decks available out there, but here is a box. If you want to make sure you're getting, like, you know, not fake one, this is what the box looks like. And I think it's pretty easily recognizable because, as you can see, we've got some cutouts here, which makes the box really, really cool and unique. Honestly, I've never had a deck that looks like this before in terms of production quality. It's pretty awesome. The Kickstarter actually came with some postcards and 2 badges, and it was one of the cheapest Kickstarters I packed, and I couldn't believe it came with all of that stuff, to be honest, because overall I think this deck cost me 30 euros for the full deck. Postcards, badges, I have zero complaint. This was one of the best Kickstarters I backed, honestly, in terms of the quickness of how everything came and in terms of how much I love the deck. Those of you who have watched my current favorite video with it, where I share with you my favorite books and my favorite decks of December and January, if you've not watched it, I'll put it in the card. You will have already seen this deck. I am obsessed, you guys. It's really, really cool. So here is the guidebook. It's half in English and half in Chinese. We have some beautiful full color images, and the guidebook is actually really well thought out. We have explanation as to what's going on the cards, keywords, upright and reverse meanings. I was very very pleasantly surprised by how much they've managed to put in there. It doesn't look like a lot, but it does help you get a better understanding at the construction and world building of the deck, because this deck is really unique in the sense that it follows a little girl. Here are the backs and here are the sides. Follows a little girl, which you'll see main character, she's right here as she is entering this like portal to go into this magical world. In each suit she's exploring a different kind of area of this world, so there's a beautiful world building in this deck that was created, and she's accompanied by different sprites, different spirits, different fairies. It creates this beautiful magical landscape. I am absolutely obsessed with this deck. It's been my main deck for myself for January, and I adore the art style, which very much gives me this Studio Ghibli vibe that reminds me of animes and movies that I love, that speak to my inner child, that speak to my whimsical heart. Absolutely stunning art style. The world building following this little girl who is exploring this magical world is so sweet. I absolutely adore all the little characters, the sprites, the spirit. I just think this is a beautifully well done, well constructed deck, full of whimsy, full of magic, and I'm just so in love with it. I could very easily see this already as being as one of my favorite decks of the year, because I think it's just really well constructed. The guidebook is very interesting. It explains to you a little bit, but it's enough as to what is depicted on the card. I think they've done a fantastic job in terms of the artwork, in terms of creating this beautiful magical kind of landscape. The court cards are also really great, depicting the different beings that live in each part of the world. So for the cups, we are in this underwater world. For the pentacles, it's more of a forest vibe, for example. For the swords, I think we have a lot of birds, and yet all of the different suits really coexist well together, that make you feel like you are in the same world. You're just exploring different part of the world. So really beautiful world building here, gorgeous, like I said, art style, and just absolutely so enchanting. I think it's just really sweet. One of the main companion of the little girl is this beautiful bird. As you can see, it follows her everywhere, and I think it's so cute. I adore this little birdie. And in terms of tarot, this reads like a dream. It's very close to our WS meaning. It's definitely not a clone. I would say it's a revisit. Like I said, I don't know if this is available anymore in terms of directly from the creators who are US Star Wheel Game System, but I was told that there was some Amazon sellers that had this deck, that it was on pre-order on Tevada. So if you can get this, if you like this, honestly, I highly recommend. The one thing I don't like, I should have said, is the cardstock. It feels like plastic, super bendy, but it's not a bendy in terms of linen. It does feel very plasticky. If you don't like plasticky cardstock, you won't love this. I don't mind, to be honest, because I love the artwork so much that I can get over it, but I know it could potentially bother some people, so just putting it out there. Let's continue with one of my treats from me to me for like congratulating myself for getting through the year. Personally, ticked a lot of things on my to-do list at the end of the year. I achieved quite a lot in terms of personal goals, so I decided to treat myself because that's how I rock. I have a Taurus moon. The way to get through anything for me is through snacks and treats. That is the way to make me move forward, to give me motivation. So one of the things I treated myself is, finally, you guys, I've been talking about this for ages. I finally managed to get my hands on this chunky beast, the Tarot Magic, Alchemy, Hermetism and Neoplatism 3rd edition book by Robert M. Place. This is a book I've been wanting for years. It's so chunky. I don't think I can show this. I could kill someone with this. This is both a book and a weapon. It's so heavy. It cost me, honestly, my next ear and a kidney to get delivered to Reunion. But it's okay, because I've been wanting it for so long that honestly it was worth it. So this is by Robert M. Place, one of my favorite authors. I also have a deck I want to share with you guys. You know, one of my favorite decks of last year was the Alchemical Tarot by Robert M. Place, and this is the accompanying book. So I won't go too much into it because I'll probably do a video later on in the year about tarot books and stuff, as I'm still getting to know this. But as you can see, here is the table of content. And this is the original accompanying guidebook, not just of the Alchemical Tarot, but also to the RWS and to his other deck, the Tarot of the Sevenfold Mystery. There is so much here, you guys. There is so much. We have, I don't know how many pages, but 700, I think 700 pages. Yeah, almost 680. It is so chunky. It is so full of information, mostly alchemical information. I have his tarot history book, which is a lot more focused on talking about the origins of tarot. This one is a lot more focused around the alchemical links with tarot, the esoteric meaning of tarot. So there's a lot there, as you can imagine. This is gonna take me probably a whole year to get into, honestly. This is something I want to take my time. I want to read one chapter at a time, take notes. I'm not in any rush. I'm just very excited that I finally have this. This is the kind of book I need in paper format, because on my Kindle it's too much. So I want to take notes, I want to annotate, I'm gonna take my time. I'm just very, very happy I finally have this. It is so heavy though that it's almost difficult for me to hold when I'm like flared up, because sometimes my shoulders are a little bit weak. So it's gonna be a bit of a struggle, but we'll make it work. For Robert M. Place, we make it work, honey. I got this from, I should have said, I got it from Artisan Tarot, who have started to stock indie decks and books. I don't know if you guys knew that. I discovered that Artisan Tarot now don't only just stock their own tarot decks, which are awesome by the way, but they also are stocking indie decks, and they delivered here, which was great. They actually stock quite a lot of Robert M. Place decks and books, so thanks to Artisan Tarot I could get my hands on this awesome book. Whilst I was ordering the book, I also got the other deck from Robert M. Place that I wanted. I have and love his Alchemical Tarot. The other one I really wanted from Robert M. Place is this one, the Tarot of the Sevenfold Mystery. This is the second edition. When I was in England last year, I almost bought it, and then suitcase space issues. I couldn't get all of it that I wanted, so I ended up just getting the Alchemical Tarot. And when I saw that Artisan Tarot was stocking their decks, I jumped on the occasion. I know that this has been translated in French mass market. I could have gotten it this way, but honestly, because I was ordering the book already, and I was already paying enormous shipping, it kind of made sense to get a deck at the same time to justify the shipping. But for all of my French viewers, you can get the Tarot of the Sevenfold Mystery mass market in French. It is called Le Tarot des Sept Vertus. I think it's published by Arcana Sacra, and it looks like it was really well done in terms of the quality and everything. I think it looks good. Here is a little guidebook. Obviously, there will be a lot more in the huge chunky book I've shared with you, but those little guidebooks are still really great. Like the one that comes with the Alchemical Tarot is fantastic, and I enjoyed it. The box is a little bit tight. I need to figure this out. Here are the backs, which I absolutely love. I love this back. It's iconic. Every time I see someone share this deck, I was reminded how much I wanted it. So to finally have it in my hands, I'm super, super pumped. I think these backs are, yeah, iconic. So gorgeous. And we have golden edges. And this is still in order because I've not used it yet. I've been using other decks I'll share with you in a bit. But here we go. Here is the... I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this one. This is probably one of his most famous decks. I think it's actually more popular than his Alchemical Tarot. If I feel better and I get some energy, I could do it side by side with the Alchemical Tarot. If you guys are interested, let me know. I'm not saying I will do it like soon, but if you guys are interested for me to do that this year, let me know. I'd be happy to do a side by side between the Alchemical Tarot and the Tarot of the Sevenfold Mystery. It's absolutely beautiful. I love that on the cards we have some keywords. I think that's really interesting. Hermit is absolutely stunning. I love Robert M. Place art style. This Wheel of Fortune is one of the main reasons why I wanted this deck. I think this might be one of the most beautiful Wheel of Fortunes ever made, to be honest. It's just really, really well thought out. It's really beautiful, and I think, I mean, the Alchemical Tarot is honestly, like I was saying, one of my favorite decks of last year. It reads like a dream, so I'm super excited to read with this one because I was really pleasantly surprised by how accurate the Alchemical Tarot reads. Feels like a sniper. I'm excited to try this one out and see the difference and compare the two. Look at this, so stunning. I've got no words, to be honest. I think Robert M. Place is a fascinating tarot teacher, tarot creator. There's people like that you just feel like we're very lucky that they have dedicated their life to understanding a subject we are passionate about more. People like, I mean, Robert M. Place, Mary Kay Greer, you know, those like tarot main hierophants. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. Bede Belwen, you know, another great tarot writer. And I'm just super excited about this. This is interesting because I remember we have a very similar Four of Cups in the Alchemical Tarot. Some cards are definitely similar. A lot of them are different. And obviously reading the guidebook, the huge book, it would be interesting to see. Again, another one that feels similar to the Alchemical Tarot, except I think in the Alchemical Tarot we have fingers on fire. So it'll be interesting to compare and read the book. This is going to be a very long yearly project, honestly. I'm not in any rush to read everything. I want to take my time. I want things to marinate. But now that I have the two decks from Robert M. Place that I wanted, now that I have his two books, I feel like this is going to be a year-long project, maybe even a couple of year-long projects to really get to know this properly and to learn more. And I'm very excited. Like I said, I really enjoy his work. I think he has a lot of fascinating knowledge, so I'm super pumped, you guys. Look, gorgeous Queen of Wands, and the last card, King of Wands, beautiful. It's giving me Welsh flag over here. I don't know if that's the reference, but I'm here for this cool dragon. Let's continue with my treats from me to me for like getting it through Vlogmas, Christmas, surviving 2024, whatever you want to call it. And then we wrap it up with a Kickstarter I literally received yesterday, so I've not really had a chance to properly look at the decks, and I thought we would enjoy looking at them together. But let's first look at my little treats. So I got the Robert M. Place book and deck, which I had honestly been on my wishlist for years. Then I got 3 indie decks from Salon des Arcanes. I did a little order from Salon des Arcanes, who is a French-based indie and mass market tarot deck shop. I do maybe like 2 or 3 order a year. Usually around Christmas time I do an order, and around my birthday. And because Nicolas, the owner of Salon des Arcanes, stocks really cool indie decks, for me it's a way to get them. Usually to get decks I can't get directly from the artist to ship to Reunion, and so that's what I've done with this one. I managed to get 3 decks where the individual artists weren't shipping to Reunion, but because Salon des Arcanes does, it just made my life a lot easier. The first one is a deck I've been wanting since, I think, even before I started my YouTube channel. It's been at least 4 years, because I remember seeing videos of this even before I was doing videos on YouTube, and that is the Playful Heart Tarot by Kitten Shop. This has been a long time coming, you guys. Have been wanting this deck for so long, but I couldn't find anywhere that shipped to Reunion until I saw that Nicolas from Salon des Arcanes was stocking this deck, so I jumped on the occasion for Christmas to order this, and I'm so excited. Like I said, this has been on my wish list, I think 4 years now, maybe even 5. I don't know when the first copy came out. Was it 2020 or 2019? But whenever it was when it came on my radar. Cute, popular deck by Kitten Shops. Indie deck, here is what the box looks like. It's absolutely stunning. The production quality with the gorgeous artwork, the golden details is really beautiful. We have a few extra oracle cards, which are super cute. We have Embrace Your Inner Child, You Are Free. We have Yes. There's no card, which I thought was a bit strange. There's a yes card, but there isn't a no card. Anyway, we have Keep Practicing, Take the First Step Today, You Are Not Alone, and Things Are Easier Than You Think. Beautiful. What I didn't know, because you know I don't really pay too much attention to that, is that the cardstock is linen, but it's not too slippery, so that's fine. But for those of you who like linen cardstock, super easy to shuffle, gorgeous backings, another iconic back, to be honest. I think it's super recognizable. People who know this deck, when we see the backing, we're like, yeah, we know immediately what it is. Super gorgeous. And we have these gorgeous kind of hollow golden sides, beautiful. Linen cardstock, but not too slippery. For those of you who have the Pagan Otherworld, for example, this is definitely less slippery than that. The Pagan Otherworld, every time I shuffle it, it tries to escape to my neighbors. It goes everywhere. This one is definitely not that bad. And this, as the name suggests, the Playful Heart Tarot is a very playful, colorful, cute little deck. I mean, a lot of you will be familiar with it, I'm sure. This is a deck I had been wanting, like I said, ever since it came out. I can't remember if it was 2019 or 2020, but I could never get my hands on it. So I'm super, super happy to finally have this because it's very me, right? I love cute. I love a lot of things. I'm a huge chaotic deck goblin. I love dark. I love cute. I love classical stuff. You're gonna see with this haul, we literally again are gonna get whiplash with the different deck I'm gonna share with you because they're so different in each style, but this is still very me. As you know, I have a soft spot for cute things. In terms of this gorgeous artwork, the beautiful watercolor, this is super, super cute. What I didn't expect was how this would read, because obviously when you are watching reviews of people, when you're watching walkthroughs, people usually talk about like the artwork and everything. Not everyone shares their experience with the deck, especially for people who do first impressions, which is why I prefer to watch reviews, because I want to know how people worked with the deck afterward. And sometimes it's not until you get a deck in your hands that you can really see how it reads, because sometimes between how it looks and how it reads, there can be a very big difference. This is the case because this actually reads a little bit mean, which I'm quite shocked. I fully expect this to be super sweet, gentle, cute, kind, a hug deck, a deck that would be there for me when I'm going through it. It's not. It's not like, I don't want to say bitchy, but it's a little bit snarky, which I'm quite shocked in terms of how it reads. It's very blunt. Yeah, that's the best way I can say it. It's very blunt and very direct and very no bullshit, which I did not expect at all in terms of how it looks and everything. I was like, oh, this is gonna be so cute, so sweet. It's gonna, hold me and be really kind, like the gentle tarot. But this is like, no, let me tell you your bullshit straight to your face. Let me show you where you're completely wrong. Let me literally tell you where you are delusional. And we need to talk about this and dish some serious tea. It definitely doesn't bother me though, because I love having decks like this, which are very honest and which cut a little bit deep, but I just did not expect this deck to do that. I fully went into this deck, I told you, I'm going through it a little bit in January. I fully went to this deck thinking, oh, it's gonna be so nice, it's gonna hold my hand, and it literally was like, get over yourself, bitch. And I was like, ouch, okay, so this is what you are, okay, so now I've been warned. I'm like, well, now I know, approach with caution. No, it's super cute, but it doesn't read cute, and you know what, that's quite interesting, and I actually enjoy that, because that means that now I know in the kind of readings that I want to read with this for. And also, it might just be how it reads for me. It might read differently for you guys, obviously, and it might read very differently if I read for general collective readings, which I want to do. So I want to actually use this for you guys in pick a card readings, see if it's still as brutally honest as it was with me, or if it's just a personal thing. We're gonna see. And I do have my fair share of cute decks that are gentle and hold my hands, so it's actually quite nice to have something that is super cute and sweet, but that will actually potentially tell me some harsh truths. So very interesting dichotomy here in terms of how it looks versus how it reads. I'd love to know if you guys have had a similar experience with this deck, if for you too it's quite brutally honest. I know this one is a favorite for a lot of people for inner child. I can see why, obviously, the way it looks. And when I'm getting to know. Obviously, it's not been that long I've been using it, so I want to read it for other people. I want to use it on my channel, and then I'll make my full opinion. Right now, it's definitely one that surprised me. So, this could be, if I do another video this year of like decks that surprised me the most, this would already be one of them because I was quite shocked at how it reads versus how it looks. Look at this 9 of Swords. I think that's my favorite card of the deck. It's so cool. It's one of the cards that made me buy the deck, honestly, because this little traumatized bunny, I can relate. Like, it's just very, very relatable with all the monsters in the background. And did we pass the Hangman? I think we passed it already. That's my second favorite. It's like, there we go. It looks like a little plant, like a pea shoot or something. Is so cute. I love this. This is also one of the cards that originally made me want the deck. It's adorable. So yeah, that is the Playful Heart Tarot by Kitten Shop. Very cute but punchy deck in my opinion. I'd love to know your guys' experience. Yeah, let me know if you have this deck, how it reads for you. Let's chat in the comments. The second deck I got from Nicola's shop is actually wanted to back on Kickstarter, but the Kickstarter didn't offer the option to deliver to Reunion Island, so I was super happy to see that Nicola was stocking this. It is the Peculiar Pathways Tarot by Lennox Reese. It actually came with a very cute bookmark, and it came with a lot of extra cards, like repeat cards, which apparently they give you in case there are some cards that got damaged. I didn't have any problem of any damage cards, so I didn't need the extra cards. There you go, you get extra all of these. It's the same, they're the same as the one you get in the deck. I think they just give it to you in case they get damaged in transport or something, I'm not sure. I was fine, so I don't need them, so I just put them on the back. Here at the back you have a QR code for the guidebook. You can get the physical guidebook, which I didn't get at the time, but I have been reading the PDF guidebook that you can get with the QR code. Let me tell you, the guidebook is amazing. Honestly, I'm so impressed by how great this guidebook is. Next time I order from Nicola, if he still has the printed guidebook, I would be very tempted to actually buy the physical copy. That's how much I think the guidebook is fantastic. Really well written. All of the symbolism you're gonna see on the cards are explained in the guidebook. Every single choice for every single object symbol in the card is explained. It's really, really juicy, so I just wanted to put that out there. If you guys have this deck and you've not checked out the guidebook, you absolutely should. You're missing out. Honestly, I'm very impressed. One of the best guidebooks I've read coming with an indie deck in recent months. And like I said, I would be very tempted to pick up the actual printed copy of the guidebook. It's that well done. Another gorgeous box. Oh my god, honestly, this whole is full of juicy, beautiful bags, because this is absolutely stunning. For me, it's very aesthetically pleasing, super, super beautiful. I love the sage kind of borders, matte borders. This in the sage color is so nice. Linen cardstock, but it's linen cardstock that is not slippery at all. We love, okay, thank you, because I don't mind linen cardstock. I don't riffle shuffle really, so for me it's like I can take it or leave it. I just don't like when my deck slips out everywhere. It's bothering me. This though feels very flexible, but it's not slippery at all. It's actually really, really nice cardstock. I really like it. Let me zoom you in. So this is a deck, like I was telling you guys, I had wanted to back on Kickstarter. There was no offer for shipping to Reunion, so when I saw that Nicola was stocking in it, Salon des Arcanes, I jumped on the occasion, and it's one I've been using not that long ago. Literally, I started using it only a week or so, so I'm definitely just starting to get to know it. I'm reading the guidebook, like I said, which I'm absolutely super impressed with, because in the guidebook, every single symbolism on the card is explained, so it'll tell you why the dog, why the arch, etc., which I think is fantastic for the majors and the minors, which I did not expect. And this is really unique. I think it's super cool. I really am drawn to this particular collage of like those engravings, black and white against those colorful background. It's super striking. It's very unique. I don't have anything like this in my tarot collection, and as soon as I saw some images of this, I was like, yep, I want it. I need this in my life. I think the choices of every single card are really well thought out. And the few cards where I was like, I don't know if this makes sense to me, as soon as I read the guidebook, I was like, okay, I understand. And so it definitely helped bonding with the deck even more. This is just really unique. It's really cool. This is definitely not a RWS revisit or RWS clone. It does its own thing. Although in terms of the meanings of the card, it does follow traditional RWS meanings. Obviously, the look of it is very, very different. So this is one I think I would recommend for people who want to get outside of their comfort zone, who want something outside of the box, something unique, something that's going to push you outside your comfort zone, something that's going to force you as a reader to not rely on your stereotypical imagery and use your intuition. And this is really cool. Like I said, I'm just getting to know it right now, but so far I'm very impressed by the amount of research that was put behind this deck. You can tell this deck was very well researched, very well thought out. You can tell it has a lot of intention behind it, and I love that. I love it when I can see an artist has poured a lot of their soul and efforts and thoughts behind the deck. You can see that every single thing chosen has an intention behind it. It's not a random collage where it's like, oh, this looks pretty, let me put this here. No, symbolism behind has meaning, it's all connected, and it's really, really well thought out. This deck reads very practical for me so far. It really wants to talk about practical day-to-day things. I think this would be a great career deck, for example, because it feels like it reads very like grounded day-to-day things, you know. It feels very like grounded in reality. Absolutely love, like I said, the mix of black and white and color. That's so striking and beautiful. I love this art style. It's really unique. And I know this creator has done a oracle deck that is what is it called, Coastal Curiosity, I think, which is a ocean theme oracle. I've been meaning to watch walkthroughs of that because a lot of people have told me I would probably enjoy it because it's ocean theme, so I need to get into that. It's not the same kind of collage though. This is definitely more striking because of the kind of like engraving art style that is superimposed onto the color. This is one of the cards that made me want the deck. If there's a chameleon, you guys know I cannot hold myself accountable. As soon as I see a chameleon in the deck or a humpback whale, immediately I have to add to cart. I lose all self-control. I'm sorry. It's just I love them so much. We have them in my garden. They're very important here in Reunion, and especially seeing that it's on the Two of Wands, which is my Deacon card of my birthday. I'm an Aries. I'm an end of March Aries. This is just everything. Made me so happy to see a chameleon on one of my favorite cards in tarot. I'm curious to get to know this more, obviously. Like I said, I've only been using it for not that long, so this is still one I am getting to know, but so far I'm very impressed, especially like I said, by the amount of research and intention that is put behind the deck. I love that. If you have it, let me know with what deck you've paired this with, because I'd be curious to know if you've tried pairing with this with something or not. I've not tried to pair this yet. I've just been reading with this on its own, reading the guidebook and getting to know it, but I'm always open to your guys' suggestion, and again, I love to chat with you in the comments. The last deck I got from Salon des Arcanes from Nicolas is another deck that has been on my wishlist. So let's talk about the Story Medicine Tarot Animal Woman 2nd edition by Jessica Zinchuk. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this. This is the second volume of the Story Medicine Tarot called Animal Woman. Jessica has done 4 Story Medicine Tarot, I believe. Each one has the same backing, so you can mix them all together. They are all on a different themes. This one has animal with it. The first one is only depicting herself, I believe, so it's more human-based. The second one, we have animals. Jessica, who is depicted herself. The third one, I believe, is linked to Baba Yaga, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember, so I don't want to say something that's wrong, but I know that all 4 decks are you can mix and match. They have the same backing. The one I really wanted was the second one, the one with the animals, because this is the one that really caught my eye ever since this was released. I think this was released in 2022 maybe, and it's a really, really special deck. This was a very expensive deck. I'm gonna start with that. It's very expensive, and I'm gonna say that in terms of literally not used this yet. It's still in order. We're gonna discover it together because I've been using the Playful Heart and the Peculiar Pathway, so I've not used this yet. I've taken it out of the box once to put it back in order because when this came out, all the cards were mixed, which it gives me an aneurysm. If I get a new deck and the cards are not in order, I will literally get like a mental breakdown. I can't cope with that, so I have to put it back in order. And for you, literally just opening it once, only putting it back in order, I've realized that the tug box is already not the most, I would say, sturdy. So I need to find a bag for this because look, it's already looking like I've had this deck for years when I literally just open it once. So for the price, I would say production quality wise, not the best. I'm gonna put that out there. That being said, you guys know I don't really care about that. For me, the most important thing about a deck is the artwork. This is definitely why I purchased this deck, because it's very, very special in terms of the artwork, the intention, and that for me can eclipse for sure production quality. I just wanted to mention it in case that's important to some of you out there. The backs looks like this. Like I said, all of Jessica's backs looks like this. So if you have several of her decks, you can mix and match. Like flexible, it feels a little bit linen finish, I think. It's quite large. However, because it's very flexible, I think for those of you who refer shuffle will probably still be able to do that. This is a very special deck. It's a very deep deck. Kind of depicts Jessica as the artist journey into womanhood, into motherhood, and alongside depicting a lot of her animal guides. So this is very special. It's very raw, very powerful, and this is definitely a deck I think only use for myself. It feels like a shamanic deck. It feels like a deck that is very rooted in personal power, and it's quite unique because a lot of the cards depict with this like red song kind of idea, menstruations, periods, and that is, I mean, that maybe that's TMI, but if you get freaked out by a little period talk, you need to get over it. It's not that big a deal. For me, the reason why I wanted this deck is because not only is it absolutely beautiful, I love the animals, I love the keywords, I think it's powerful, it's shamanic, it's definitely raw in energy. I'm not someone who has their period anymore right now because of endometriosis, which is one of my diagnoses, one of the fun chronic illness I have, and so I can't have my period right now anymore because it's just literally putting my body in danger. So I have to stop at the moment and cut them off. And so as a way for me to still tap into this powerful kind of cycles that humans being can have, working with this deck is gonna be what I work with for me to reconnect with this idea of personal cycles, menstruation, without actually personally going through that. So again, that might be TMI, but there's a lot of us out there who are going through similar things. Maybe you guys have had to stop them medically like me. Maybe some of you guys are going through menopause, whatever it is. This is just part of life. It's part of being a human being, and I think being able to connect to those cycles, even if you yourself personally feel foreign to those cycles potentially for a reason or another, through a deck, I think is quite powerful, and that's why I wanted to work with this deck. That's why I wanted to get it. The other main reason is because I absolutely am enchanted by all the animals. Specifically, you're gonna see there's a lot of whales. We've talked about it. I can't resist a whale, and I think this is very brave, very raw, and super unique. This feels like a powerful deck, and the keywords on each of the card I think are also really well chosen and quite deep and profound. So this is the kind of deck I want to do a very deep, like, personal work with, to connect with my body, to do personal introspection with, to connect with my own womanhood. It's not a deck I don't think I would feel comfortable using for someone else. I mean, because I wouldn't want to assume, but for me, from me to me, from my own personal practice, this feels very precious and powerful. I've not used it yet because, like I said, right now I'm not in that headspace to be doing anything too heavy like this. I want to keep this for specific work I'm thinking of doing, but I wanted to share it with you guys because I know this is quite like popular in the tarot tube world. I've definitely seen people talk about it. I wanted to share it again because I think it was out of print for a little bit, and then I saw that Nicola had restocked it on his website. I think he has all of Jessica's deck, if I'm not mistaken. At least he did when I did my order, like end of December, beginning of January. Look at this. We have I am not alone, my ancestors carrying me for the 9 of Wands. Wow, that's like powerful. That already makes me feel a little bit emotional, you know. In terms of the court cards, we have renamings. We have the daughter for the pages. We have the young mother for knights. We have goddess for the queen, and we have grandmother for the king. That makes sense to me for a deck that is specifically dedicated to her initiation through womanhood and her personal like connection to her ancestral wisdom and all of that. That makes sense to me because it's a very feminine deck. I don't mind the renaming at all. Look at that. My words pour out. Oh, I love this so much. Not afraid to express my grief. Wow, it's raw. It's raw. It's very special. And it makes me emotional just looking at this right now. I do not hurry my healing process. And look at all those beings. Yeah, you know, it makes me feel things, this deck, which is why I know it's going to be so great for me to journal with, to communicate with myself, my higher self, my guides with. This is powerful. And so, which is why I can totally forgive the flimsy tug box and everything, because this is not why I got the deck for. I got the deck for how beautiful, powerful the artwork is. There's no guidebook, but honestly, you don't need it because you've got the messages on the card, and I think this is one you're meant to use very intuitively. One of my favorite cards. I follow my imagination. So beautiful. Let's move it up. We have the Ace of Cups. I dive heart first into a new world. Yeah, so special. I sense my becoming. A lot of the cups represent, obviously, water beings. We have a lot of salmon and underwater themes, which that might be my favorite suit, actually, the water suit. I love it. You know, I love ocean and everything, and it's really, really beautiful. So gorgeous. And as you can see, we have a Jessica who has depicted herself in a lot of the card, which I think is really gorgeous. Source lives in me and I am a treasure for the 9 of Cups. How special is that? Wow. I think you could pull one card and journal about it and get so much out of this deck, which is probably what I'm gonna do at first. I think at first I'll probably just pull 1 or 2 cards and journal, and then I'll move on to bigger spreads, but I really don't think you need to do huge spreads to get a lot out of these decks at first. And finally, let's go on to the Pentacles. We have create support, brew in love for the 5 of Pentacles. How gorgeous is that? Grow into it for the 7 of Pentacles. Yeah. Finally, for the King of Pentacles or Grandmother of Pentacles, we have my bones tell me. How precious is that? And we have the turtle. Yeah, it's really, really gorgeous. Deep work. I want to journal with it. I want to meditate with this. And I'm excited about using this as a healing deck, as a personal deck. I'm so excited to finally have this in my hands. Again, if you guys own this deck, if you have worked with this deck, let me know in the comments how you've resonated with it, but it's really special. Let's wrap up this haul with the latest Kickstarter that arrived. It's 2 decks from the same creator. It's actually 2 decks from Mr. Freeborg. So I backed the Sirena Tarot on Kickstarter, which is this one. Absolutely gorgeous. We're gonna get into it. And because I backed this one and the Kickstarter was offering options to pick up other decks from that creator, I also finally got my hands on the Tarot key from Mr. Freeborg, which I had been wanting for ages. So super happy. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the Sirena Tarot first, which is Mr. Freeborg's latest deck, which is the deck I actually backed on Kickstarter. Look at this gorgeous pouch that came with the Kickstarter. I can't. And we have like this beautiful orange velvet and this pink, which actually matches my background so well. I'm obsessed. Super beautiful. That came with the Kickstarter. I didn't pay extra for it. It was just included. Also, we're given in the Kickstarter this beautiful velvet mat for, you know, putting your cards on. Gorgeous. It is a very nudity heavy deck, as you're gonna see. And so obviously the mat also pictures a lot of nude mermaids, which is why I didn't actually use this, even though it's gorgeous, for my videos, because I have a feeling YouTube might not like those. I might have to use this for my own personal use only, sadly, because sometimes YouTube is weird about nudity like that, but it's absolutely stunning. And here is what the box looks like. So it's a very simple box. There's not much going on the actual box. Because the pouch is so beautiful, I wouldn't store the box without the pouch anyway. For me, they definitely go together. This Kickstarter, I actually backed it. When did I back this? It was quite fast. Like, I backed it the last trimester of 2024, I think, or I can't remember, maybe September or something like that. I got mine sometime in January, so it was a quick turnaround in my book. You know, I live on a tropical island. Kickstarters can take months and months and months and months to get to me. So this was actually a quite quick turnaround, and I'm super impressed with like the pouch, the mat. We also had a super cute little shell charm that was sent with this deck. Really gorgeous attention to detail. This only arrived yesterday in my mailbox, so I thought I would include it in this haul. We can discover it together, but I just had a quick look to see if all the cards were there, and I did notice it was very nudity heavy, so just putting that out there. If you don't like seeing seeing booty, this is not the deck for you. Okay, move to the next deck, as you probably will hate this deck if you don't like Unity. Personally, I think it's really well done. I think it's aesthetically pleasing, and I think it's quite beautiful the way it's done, so I'm very excited about this. Here is what the guidebook looks like. We have no images, but we do have a description of what's going on in the card, which is great. Of that, when the artists give us a meaning of what is displayed, what their intention behind the illustration of the card was. And then we have Mr. Freeburg has called high polarity and low polarity, which is literally upward and reverse meanings. I really like to have the description of the card here because it will, I'm sure, help me understand some of the artistic choices that were made here. Here are the backs, which are absolutely stunning. I mean, come on, how gorgeous is that? So beautiful. Another stunning back. I mean, I'm telling you, the theme for this haul is gorgeous backs. That should be the theme. I didn't plan it, it just has so happened. I've always enjoyed Mr. Freeburg's art style. I always wanted their tarot key, so I'm super happy I finally have it. I'll share it with you in a bit. And when I saw that he was doing a Kickstarter last year, a mermaid Kickstarter, I jumped on the opportunity to back this because I think that his art style is really beautiful. It's giving classical, but with all of these beautiful diverse skin tones, and the way that some of the mermaids are depicted, you're gonna see they're giving almost like mermaid centaur vibes, is really interesting. This feels like a mix between modern and classic. That makes it for me a very timeless deck. Like I said, it's very nudity heavy, so if you don't like seeing bits, if you don't like seeing booty, this is not gonna be the deck for you. I think it's very tasteful though. I don't think it's done in a way that's like, you know, gross or anything like that. On the contrary, I think it's very aesthetically pleasing and it just looks beautiful, to be honest. I love the diversity in this deck in terms of skin tones. That's awesome. It's not something we see a lot with mermaid decks, sadly, so I'm really happy about that. And look at this discard. I mean, come on, this is so beautiful. I love it so much. In terms of mermaid decks, this is very different to what I have. I have a very cutesy mermaid deck, which is like the Dame Darcy one, which feels a little bit more campy. I have one from Llewellyn, the Mermaid Tarot, which is also quite diverse in terms of skin tones, which is great, but that feels a little bit more modern in depiction. Whereas this one is definitely like giving, for me anyway, it's giving mermaids from Greek mythology time. It's giving mermaids and mythical creatures from ancient Greece, ancient Rome, and so that, as a huge mythology lover, speaks to me. Look at this. This is so cool. That's what I was telling you. Some of these mermaids have feet or claws or whatever you call that, and it's really cool. I've never seen that before. It's giving mermaids meets Medusa meets centaur, and I'm really here for it. I have not read with this deck yet, obviously, so I don't know how it reads. I've not seen many people talk about this deck, which is a shame because it's super beautiful. Maybe the nudity stopped some people, but honestly, it again, even the nudity parts, even the bits that you see, feel very reminiscent to like Greek busts and statues from that time. So it feels very tasteful to me, you know, it's not in your face, if I can say that. And the booties are gorgeous. I mean, come on, look at those gorgeous booties right there. That's a plus, okay? But yeah, it feels very like Greek mythology, Roman mythology, kind of sea creatures, which I am so here for. This is giving me Ulysses, the Odyssey, right? A little bit of that. And whilst it's a modern deck, it feels like it could have been printed in like 1800 almost with this type of art style, with on top of that those beautiful diverse skin tones, which I'm so here for. Beautiful. It's very unique in the interpretation. I have realized that it's definitely not an RWS clone. It definitely doesn't follow traditional imagery. It takes its own route, which I love. So I don't know if this would be an amazing deck for beginners necessarily, although the guidebook is really well explained. But if you're already a little bit familiar with tarot meanings, you would have no problem picking this up and reading with it out of the box. There was only a couple of cards when I quickly looked at it that gave me pause in terms of the meanings, but again, the guidebook really clears this up, and obviously once I'll be reading with it properly, I will be able to come back and give you my full thoughts, probably in like a monthly favorites. This is usually where I go back and share with you my thoughts. But yeah, it's so stunning. Look at this. This is one of those where you're like, wow, okay, that's a choice. Let's have a look actually. Three of Swords, because that one gave me pause. I was like, wow, this is one of the most powerful Three of Swords I have ever seen. So it says, in the dance of pain, body and soul are pierced, yet halos remain. And it says 3 mermaids each hold a sword impaling different body parts of a man, one through the torso, one through the head, and one through the lower body. Each impaled parts bears a halo, symbolizing the profound connection between suffering and spiritual growth. I mean, yeah, represents heartbreak, sorrow, deep emotional wounds. This card encourages facing pain directly, acknowledging the hurt, and understanding that suffering can lead to spiritual insight and transformation. What a really unique way to depict the Three of Swords, right? Like, this is powerful. This is unique. It's not your stereotypical Three of Swords pierced like that. Like I said, this is why some of those cards definitely are different to traditional RWS depiction. So for me, this is a deck that, again, I would recommend if you want something that pushes you outside your comfort zone a little bit. And in terms of mermaids, these mermaids actually look dangerous, which, you know, a lot of mermaid decks make you are giving like cute mermaids, nice mermaids, but they're not giving you that dangerous mermaid who will drown you to the bottom of the ocean if she catches you, which is very more so mermaids from Greek mythology. If you read the Odyssey and Ulysses, those mermaids are dangerous. They will kill you. They are monsters, right? They will lure you in and then drown you to the bottom of the ocean. This is the vibe of these mermaids. Not all of them are dangerous. Some of them are giving definitely more kind mermaids. You can feel how thin that line is between monster and ally. And I like that. I like that we have this kind of like wild and a little bit raw and fierce side of mermaids instead of the sweet, very gentle kind of mermaid vibes that we get from a lot of other decks. If they want to help you, they will, but if they want you to die, you will not make it very long. So I really like that. And again, look, gorgeous booty. So yeah, there you go. That's the Sirena Tarot. Super beautiful. I'm excited to read with this. I'm excited to get to know this more. Last deck of this haul was the one I got in the same Kickstarter. At the same time as I backed the Sirena Tarot, I decided to also pick up the Tarot Key by Mr. Freeborg, the same artist. In the Kickstarter, we could pick up some of his decks, and this is one I really wanted. Here is what the box looked like. Beautiful. This is the first edition for printing. Here is what the guidebook looks like. It's definitely smaller than the Sirena guidebooks. It's a lot more succinct. This time we only have upward and reverse meaning. We don't have a description of the card, unlike the Sirena one, which is a shame, but still gives you enough. Like, it gives you a couple of sentences or keywords for each of the card. Oh my god, another gorgeous backing. You guys, this is a whole of gorgeous back in all sense. Gorgeous deck backs, we had gorgeous booty, we had everything. Gorgeous backs. Look at this. So stunning. 3 decks ago, I was sharing with you super cute, colorful things. Now we are on the complete opposite. We're in the classical, a little bit dark vibes. And you know what? I'm here for it. You know, by now my tastes are very eclectic / chaotic. And you will have seen in this haul, because we've had super cute, super colorful, to a little bit more traditional and historical. And I'm here for all of this. This is a reinterpretation of a traditional classical Italian deck, a tarocchi. In that sense, it is a pip deck, and all of the cards have the faces redrawn as skulls, which are absolutely stunning. All of the names of the majors and of the suits are in Italian, so we have Il Carro for the Chariot, La Giustizia for Justice, and again we have Justice in number 8, and we will have the Strength in number 11. So in that sense, it does follow a little bit more Marseille or traditional Italian kind of system. So we have, there you go, we have Strength or La Fortezza for number 11. And this is very beautiful. I know this is a favorite amongst many people. I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends have this deck and love it so much. A lot of my friends who read with pip decks actually have recommended this deck to me and said they love this so much. I think a lot of the inspiration are coming from both the Minchiate Tarot as well as the Eteia Tarot. For example, this version of the tower for me is giving very Eteia Tarot. I think there's also some inspiration from the Soprafino, which is another very infamous Italian deck. So there's definitely a few traditional inspiration here. For me, the biggest one I automatically recognize are the Eteia and the Minchiate. But I'm sure there's other ones. Like I said, Mr. Freeborg's artwork is quite stunning. It's very, like I said, it's always in this classical art style, but with a modern revisit. For a pip deck, I think this is one of the most beautiful pip decks I've seen done, because the pips are just really full of detail, really gorgeous. Let's move on quickly. We have again, the court cards are in Italian, so we have Fenty, Caval for the knight, we have Regina for queen, and we have the Ray for king. And then let's move on to cups. Look at this Ace of Cups, you guys. So gorgeous. 2 of Cups. Yeah, it's not a Tarot de Marseille. It's definitely more, like I said, of Italian inspiration. For me, I'm seeing a lot of Minchiate, and I'm seeing a lot of particularly Eteia inspiration in this, which I'm all about. You know, you guys know I really enjoy the Eteia Tarot. For the inspiration it's given to a lot of more modern decks, but we don't see a lot of modern decks actually from modern artists revisiting these older traditional decks. So to see this as a revisit of older decks is really cool. I love to see an artist deciding to revisit something more traditional and classical. I think just look at those beautiful pips. I mean, so stunning. And I love the skulls on top of the faces is really special. Again, we have those reminiscent like creatures that then come back in the Sirena Tarot, which is really beautiful. And then let's quickly move on to the next one. Look at this Ace of Swords. Ooh, I love this. I think it's really cool that a modern artist has decided to reinterpret traditional tarot. I would love for more people to do that. I would love for people to do a new version of the Eteia Tarot, to do more Minchiate Tarot, because those tarot decks have so much to offer. They are really cool, rich in history, but revisits are always interesting. And I think, yeah, one of my favorite cards actually, this 9 of Swords with those swords dangling like this. Super cool. So yeah, I hope this year we will see more revisits of older historical traditional decks with, just like Mr. Freeborg did, the artist's own unique interpretation, own vision of it, because that's awesome, and we don't see that a lot, so I hope we get to see more of that. And as you can see, even though it's a pip deck, it's definitely not a boring pip deck. A lot of efforts was put into it. I think this is giving what I like to call peppy pips that are very peppy, that are full of life, that have personality. It's not boring pips at all. We don't just have like 10 ones, lying around. And I know, like I said, for those of you who love to read with pip deck, this is a very popular one. Pip decks are not something I use a lot of. I tend to prefer scenic deck, but this one had caught my eye ever since it came out because I thought it was a really unique and cool revisit. So being able to back this at the same time of the Kickstarter made so much sense to me, and I'm really excited to have this. Honestly, this is one I think I will use more so towards like the end of the year, potentially for like October time, you know, for connecting with ancestors, things like that. Potentially even winter for me, so like July, August, when it's winter for myself. I don't feel called to this particular deck right now because it's summertime for me. I'm definitely more so gonna get into the Sirena Tarot first, which feels more like summertime, more like the vibe I'm in right now at where I live, you know, in Reunion. But this I think will be something more for winter for me, or for the season around Halloween, Samhain and all of that, connecting with ancestors. Being said, I'm super happy to have my hands on this, and again, if you guys have this, let me know. So there you go, that was my last deck of this haul. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your kind words, for your support, for your comments, for just your enthusiasm, and just for being awesome. I wanted to say a huge thank you for you guys being here and making this place such a nice place to show up to. If you've made it till the end of the video, you can leave me a little mermaid emoji in honor of the mermaid deck I just shared with you guys, the Sirena Tarot. Leave me a little mermaid emoji in the comments. It will let me know you made it till the end. It will make me super happy. Of course, feel free to leave in the comments the new decks you got, if you've gotten any decks you're enjoying, if you have any of the decks I've shared, if you want to share with me any decks you're enjoying yourself, Tarot, Oracle, Indie Mass Market, let me know in the comments. Love to read you. In the meantime, I hope you're taking good care of yourself. I want to wish you a beautiful rest of the month. I'm sending you so much good vibes, and keep navigating the waves of your soul. Bye!